Alright, so we are 5 days postpartum, and while it's still fresh on my mind, let me go ahead and talk about my birth story. So I went into labor and delivery on Wednesday at 8 o'clock, and the reason I went in for induction was because they were worried about the size of the baby. She was weighing about 9-ish pounds on the ultrasound, and I know a lot of people have said take it with a grain of salt, but it's better safe than sorry. So we started the Pitocin. They didn't have to do the Cervidil because I was already 3 centimeters dilated, 50% effaced. So we went straight to Pitocin and we started that at about 9 o'clock. Nothing much happened all the way from 9 o'clock to, it was like 7 in the morning. I was stuck at 4. I labored in the bathtub. I changed positions, bouncing on the ball, everything, and nothing changed. And I was still 4 centimeters and the contractions were only a minute apart and they were pretty intense. So they upped the Pitocin all the way to, I believe it was like 18. And they're like, well, at this point, the only thing we can really do is break your water and hopefully that gets things going. She's like, if you were to get an epidural, I would recommend doing it now because if you're going to progress, you're going to progress fast, and we might not have time to get you an epidural. I told her I didn't want the epidural. My plan was going natural the entire time, so aside from obviously getting induced, but I did not want to get an epidural, and I was really gung-ho on that, so I said no, and we proceeded with breaking my water, and that's when shit hit the fan. So they broke my water about 2:30, and then I went from a 4 to a 6 in about 30 minutes, and then from there I stopped progressing again. So what they did was the nurses, I had amazing nurses. The nurses put me in, I believe she called it like a sideline release position. Good Lord. I had contractions that would not stop. I would not get a break. There would not be any type of pause. It was literally, in the entire time I was in that position, I was a constant contraction. You had to do it. It was like 5 minutes in each position, which felt like an eternity. I was screaming in pain. I don't think I've ever been in that much pain in my life. I know I haven't been in that much pain in my life. They checked me again. I went from a 6 to a 7, and then they switched me to the other side. And at that point, I was like, I was so mentally checked out. I'm like, if I'm not progressing this much and I'm in so much pain, I don't know what else I can do. I don't know how much else my body can handle. So they brought in the anesthesiologist to talk to me, and as soon as he started talking, I got on all fours, like my body just started taking over, and I started bearing down. And she's like, we need to check you again, because if you're bearing down at a 7, there's something going on. So she checked me again. I was 9.5 and starting to push. So they got the doctor in there, flipped me over, and I just had me start bearing down. And everything happened so fast, but my daughter's shoulder got stuck, so she did get shoulder dystocia, and the nurse got on top of me and pushed so hard and was able to get her unstuck, and then 45 seconds later, my daughter came out. And she did turn out to be a whopping 8 pounds, 15 ounces, so damn near 9 pounds, so the ultrasound was actually correct. As much as it hurt, I am glad that I did do it without getting epidural, because I was able to walk around and move around right after immediately and, go to the bathroom. It was, there's pros and cons for sure, but would I deal with that epidural again? Not if it was that situation again, because that was crazy, but yeah, that is the birth story for Little Miss Rose.